infections more easily, shortness of breath, things of that nature, and it's still not known how kava got stimulant effects. If you use a large amount, it's got sedative effect. Usage of that chapter in my life, so it actually is a good thing. But hey, what's up, y'all? It's Guianna, back with another concept video. This one's about Kava and Kratom, a little bit about the history, the pros and cons of both, how it's affected me when I've used them, and whether or not I think it affects my sobriety in a positive way. So let's get into it. First up, Kava. It is legal in the United States for personal use and as a dietary supplement. It's a depressant drug, which means it slows down the messages traveling between the brain and the body, and it's made from the root or the stump of the kava shrub. This is all via the Alcohol and Drug Foundation. Just to shout them out real quick, it comes in the form of capsules, extracts, drops, brown powder, and a brown colored drink. It's used traditionally by Pacific Islanders for ceremonies and cultural practices, also believed to help people communicate with spirits and strengthen that bond. The effects of kava obviously differ from person to person, just like most things, right? Basically, if you consume a small amount, you can feel happy or relaxed, mild sleepiness, numbness of your mouth and throat, reduced loss of appetite. If you consume a large amount, then you'll start to feel drowsy, nauseous, loss of muscle control, mild fever, pupil dilation, or just some of the symptoms you could experience. Regular use over the long term could result in mood swings, apathy, dry, scaly skin, severe weight loss, getting infections more easily, shortness of breath, things of that nature, and it's still not known how kava reacts with other drugs or even prescribed medications. So it's definitely something that if you're thinking about using, to talk to your doctor first or your healthcare provider. There's no known evidence of withdrawal concerning kava. It is typically used to treat pain and insomnia and anxiety in people, so that's typically the go-to and the allure, other than the traditional uses. My experience with kava is that it's been, it doesn't taste very great, number one, and it definitely was off-putting, the kind of drowsy feeling that I got when I used it. So yeah, I really kind of felt almost like I took like a sleeping pill, and it was just a strange feeling for me. So I would say no to kava for me in my sobriety. I don't think that it works for me very well. And I think, typically it's supposed to help people who are detoxing off of opiates, because it kind of plays into your opiate receptors, and that I've been told has worked for people who are in that process of detoxing. It doesn't really work for me though, so yeah, there's that. Let's get into it with kratom. So kratom, is it legal? Yes, it's legal in the United States. However, it's not legal in Thailand, Australia, Malaysia, several other European countries. Basically, it's used as a stimulant. If you use a small amount, it's got stimulant effects. If you use a large amount, it's got sedative effects. Basically, what happens is alertness, sociability, reduced motor coordination. Sedative effects can kind of give you a feeling of like calmness and euphoria, which can last up to 6 hours, which is crazy. That's a long time. And basically, kratom is controversial because there's not a lot of studies that have been done about it. So there's not a lot, where people can kind of prove what the harmful effects of it can be, like the full extent of it, I guess. And so some reported side effects though so far are insomnia, severe weight loss, lack of loss of appetite, constipation, discoloration of the cheeks. Yeah, People use it for pain management, though, on the flip side. So people get their relief from whatever they're suffering from using kratom, excuse me, and obviously the stimulant or sedative effects that are also feel good feelings, right? Regular use can cause addiction. It says, this is all according to healthline.com, which is a really reputable source I go to with a lot of like mental health and body related things. It can cause hallucinations, which is crazy. And also kratom can potentially cause a deadly interaction with other drugs or medicines that you might be taking. And also, again, there's not a lot of scientific evidence to back up the full extent of what kava can do and what it's capable of doing. My experience with, did I say kava or kratom? We're talking about kratom now. We're going to pretend like I said kratom. So kratom, there's not enough evidence really still to prove the full extent of its damage that it can do to your body, or even the benefits, except for the fact that it obviously creates like a euphoria or a stimulating effect for people who use it, and it does relieve them of pain. So for most people, right, that's like all you're really looking for. Yeah, my experience with kratom is kind of a similar thing. Kind of getting that like, just kind of like an unsettling feeling. Like, case in point, most recently I was doing a gig and I had kombucha, because I don't drink, remember, and it had kratom in it, and it had been so long since I had kratom, I just kind of like, whatever, I didn't remember. So I literally had like 2 sips and my heart was like racing like I had had several cups of coffee. And I am a coffee drinker. Like I go hard on coffee, because when you don't drink, you go hard on other things like sparkling water and kombucha and coffee and things like that. So yeah, it was really weird. I had to stop drinking it. I had to basically get a regular kombucha to swap it out with, because I was like in the middle of a gig and my heart was racing and I felt like I was gonna throw up. It was just crazy. So that's my experience with it. Definitely not helpful for my sobriety, because towards the latter end of my usage of cannabis, I was having similar heart issues, which definitely accelerated me coming to a close with that chapter in my life. So it actually is a good thing, but it just kind of reminded me of that, and I was like, this is not a good feeling. So that's my experience. My experience doesn't have to be anybody else's. This is just my channel, so this is what I'm sharing. I'm sharing my experience. So please feel free, let me know, what is your experience with kava, with kratom? Does it help you with your pain, your anxiety, your insomnia? Do you feel like the benefits outweigh the side effects, or vice versa? If you're a sober person, or somebody who's, you know, working to lower their usage of things, do you find that kava and kratom is a healthy replacement for that? Not to be used in addition to, but like, do you feel like it's a healthy replacement for those things? Do you feel like it helps you to maintain a level of peace in your mind, or do you feel like it actually creates like a hindrance for you? I'm very interested to hear everybody's perspective, so holla at your girl. This has been a little bit about kava and kratom. Yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Oh, and subscribe. Also, I'm not a professional. I'm just a person out here in the world sharing my thoughts about things that I've experienced and wanting to create a connection between myself and whomever is on the other side of this video. Peace.